Hi, and welcome back to That's the V. Today I am with Erin, a really good friend and a really great freelance model. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about in the pod today, how to get into freelance modeling and what it takes and all the pros and cons that comes with it. But anyway, hi Erin.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to yap about this topic with
Yes,
you
me too.
because it's important, and people, especially aspiring models or anyone that wants to get into the modeling industry, I feel like they really need to know how to do it. And I really wanted to bring you in just because you were also part of the Cucaracha model camp. So we'll talk about that experience. But first of all, how did you first get into modeling, and what made you decide you wanted to be into not an agency, but more of freelance modeling?
Okay, so I initially started modeling about 2 years ago. I was reached out to by a local agency in my Instagram DMs, and they asked for a meeting with me. I ended up meeting with them, and I ended up signing a contract with them. I was with them for, I think, probably 5-6 months before I ended up.
Short-lived.
Yes, it was pretty short-lived. The contract ended up being void. It was like not, it's like a whole story, honestly.
Yeah, okay.
But that's what happened. And then around that time, I applied and got accepted to Cucaracha Model Camp. I went there.
Yeah.
That 4 days literally changed my life. I came back, I swear, like a new person. I felt like I actually knew what to do now, if that makes sense. And so I came back, and where I was at in my life, it kind of it didn't fully make sense for me to go after an agent at that point, and I was kind of scarred, honestly. It's like it's nerve-wracking and kind of scary to be submitting and looking for an agent, because I think when I came back from camp, it kind of shifted from, I don't know if I'll be able to get an agent at all, to I really want to make sure I'm finding someone who's right for me. So I think since then, freelancing has just kind of worked for me. I'm a student, I'm in school, so I have other things going on too, and it's just kind of
more flexible.
Yes,
I think at the end of the day.
Yes, and I kind of find a way to make it work where I actually am finding jobs on my own. So I think for the past year, it's just worked. I hope to get to a point where an agent definitely will be beneficial, but it's a question of finding someone who is really gonna fight for me and be in my corner and have my back in this scary industry.
No, definitely, because also I've heard so many horror stories of agencies, especially in smaller cities.
Yes.
Like El Paso, Texas, where we are currently. And how, I mean, at the end of the day, it's more of a scam rather than an actual agency, because as you know from camp, they really go into the legal aspects of what an agent should do for you. And they should find you jobs. You shouldn't be having to pay for being part of anything. Like, their job is to get you paid. But I've also found so many good stories of good agents and agencies, but more so in bigger cities like LA, New York. I know currently in Denver, Wilhelmina Rocky Mountains just became a thing. So that's a good thing to look at for agents and agencies. I feel like they're really connected to the Southwest and Colorado, but they've been doing a lot of jobs back and forth also with LA. And I have a friend who I also interviewed in the podcast who lives in LA, but she's signed with Rocky Mountains in Denver. Which is crazy, because I feel like Denver, people don't talk about it being a fashion
You would
place.
think Chicago is probably the closest to Denver.
That's so with that being said, I feel like it's creating awareness of your experience with the so-called agency, and how I feel like at the end of the day, they just want to sign people. It doesn't matter if you want to be an actual model or not. They sell you a dream and kind of fake goals rather than really getting those jobs and getting you paid. And even like your experience, you say you were there for 5 to 6 months. Did you get like any like portfolio work out of it?
So the way the contract was kind of sold to me in the initial meeting was that I was paying a fee that I now know should not have ever been paid. But I was paying a fee that they sold to me as 2 portfolio shoots, which I later learned were literally just test shoots that normally are done by both parties for free to build your portfolio up. So they sold that to me, and then it was also like weekly modeling classes that I had access to go take. So that was kind of how it was sold to me. And within the first like 2 months, it started becoming kind of obvious that, I mean,
there was something off.
Something would just felt off about it. And then the jobs that I was being offered, it was, I think one time it was an actual photo shoot. Every other job, they would call me and say that it was some sort of like atmosphere modeling job. And I would
like
end up
ambient model.
And I would end up, you know, being like the hostess of a party, or one time I ended up walking around Dillard's for 2 hours handing out flyers. I don't remember what they told me that one was, but I was just sitting there like, I literally don't know why I'm doing this right now. Like, this is not
what you signed
modeling or what I signed up for. But also, like, I think there was just a lot of, I didn't know how to read the contract. I didn't know what it said. I didn't know that there should have been a lot more things in that contract about, you know, like usage rights and, you know, my likeness and, you know, just like all of these different things. They had, like, I signed on for them to have worldwide. But like, that's totally negotiable. Like, you don't have to let someone have worldwide control over your
and that's
modeling.
Something like, that, how are you going to know if you have never modeled before? Like, I feel like, I mean, anyone, as I said, that wants to get into modeling, it's scary to like get handed a contract and then you're like, okay, this seems like really official and really real, but like, what is actually in it and how should it actually work? And I also think, I mean, I'm all for investing like in model classes or like portfolio photography for you to grow your experience as a model,
but know who's teaching it.
Know who's teaching it, know who's involved, and know like what you're getting for it. And if you're paying for photography especially, you should be able to pick and choose what you want to do, because that's what you're paying for. I mean,
if you're paying for it,
because I feel like there's a lot of like test shoot collabs, and that's fine. At the end of the day, it's like a two-way street. Like photographer and model are getting something out of it. So I feel like that's more of like you both come up with a concept, or if it's just like digitals, it's also like you need to update those. But it's just like, how do you even find these people? How do you make it happen? And I feel like there's just, as a freelance model, there's so many possibilities. So like for you, after deciding to become a freelance model, how did you become part of like the industry and started getting these jobs, or even like your test shoots or anything that you knew you needed after the camp for your portfolio?
My short answer is networking. But really, when I came back from camp, the first thing I started doing was setting up test shoots. I found the other models in my area that, you know, looked legit and had good work done, and I found the photographers from their pages that they had worked with, and I started reaching out to those photographers. I also started reaching out to those models and just asking for reviews on the photographers. You want to make sure you know who you're showing up to, and if you don't know them, you've never met them, you probably should not show up alone. Is another 100%. Thing I've learned. So I started doing that, and there was one test shoot I did with the photographer here that kind of, I think, moved the needle for me. Because after, you know, those photos were posted and everything, that's when people kind of started reaching out to me. And I was just, you know, submitting to all the castings that I could locally and just around Texas. And from there it was networking. I kept showing up. and then setting up multiple test shoots and just trying to build my portfolio and have as many different looks as I can without oversaturating it. Yeah, so I would say like my first step was the test shoots, really.
Yeah, and I mean, when you say, I love that you say working with that one photographer kind of just made it happen, because I do think it's like doing your research, like you're saying, like look into what quality of work you want done for your photos, because I mean, there'll be photographers out there that I feel will be like, yeah, let's collab, but their photography maybe is not what you need in your portfolio.
You want to make sure you're gonna get something that you will actually be able to use in your book.
And think about like putting it out in New York, like what are models doing out there. I mean, I feel like social media is such a great tool to research, network, like you say, like message the models that have worked with a photographer. I feel like that's the best way, just to really like
get
visually
reviews,
and like,
and don't be afraid to ask for them.
Because even like us as models, I feel like if someone asks me out of a photo that a photographer took, I'll be blunt and I'll be completely honest on the experience, the location, even if like the studio or whatever it was, how the experience was, rather than just kind of like, okay, let's see how it goes. Like,
exactly. Like not everyone will always answer when you like DM asking for a review, but I mean, someone will, you know.
But we will.
We will. DM us.
Like, please do. And now going into also like freelance modeling and getting paid. I know we talked about this in the past, where you have like a certain contract with when you're in an agency, but when you're freelance, it's like how do we protect ourselves,
right?
And I really wanted to touch base on this subject, because it's something I feel like it needs to be more common and more talked about, and how to like protect each other as models, as talent. Even I feel like actors and actresses who are freelance should have a contract of their own to, even if it's not being paid, what are you getting? If like back from the exchange, it's closed,
some form of compensation.
So what has been your experience being paid as a freelance model after you decided?
So it's definitely tough, because like my thing is, I have felt a lot that I just don't have the protections that I would have if I had an agent right behind me, like doing the negotiations and building the contracts and like making sure that it's guaranteed I'm going to get paid. It's guaranteed that, you know, the usage rights of the work, because there's, I mean, there's so many different things that, you know, you'll be paid differently for, but as a freelance model, you don't have someone right behind you saying like, this is what's going to happen, you know?
They think it's kind of like common sense, where, okay, we agreed to do the job, and then now what? Like,
and then there's just like there's nothing in writing before the job. There's no call sheet being sent out. There's no like, what am I expected to do technically when I show up? How many hours am I expected to work? Like, it's just there's nothing. Something I have started doing is writing my own contracts.
I love that.
Another model and I kind of got together and started talking about it, and I mean, let's just write our own, and you know, until we have that agent behind us. Especially just for, I mean, we have a lot of like local people reaching out to us wanting modeling work, but then it's hard to get them to pay us an appropriate amount. And then there's nothing in writing that's guaranteeing that, you know, we are going to get paid in a timely manner, or like what the photos are going to be used for. Is it just a social media? Is it going to be run as a paid ad?
Is it a billboard?
Like, is this
is my face going to be everywhere?
Like I, as a model, have a right to know what you're going to do with my photo and my likeness.
100%.
Period. Like,
and I love that you say that you started doing that. And I feel like a lot of freelance models have no idea of that. Like, you could be your own agent and get your own jobs, and especially coming like in a city that's not as fashion forward, aren't as big as New York or LA, but that you can still get these jobs and travel and have a freelance contract to back you up. And also just creating awareness of getting paid. I feel like a lot of models that are starting want to do all this free work for their portfolio, which is completely fair. But also, I feel like then there's models with more experience who have like a full portfolio behind them, and it's like we're requesting payment, but then it's like, oh, well, if she's requesting payment, we'll just use the model that is not. So it becomes like a very uneven world.
Yes.
Community.
Yes.
So I think also like this episode is mainly also creating that consciousness of models, talent, requesting a payment, getting paid for your time, and even if it's not like monetary, at least like photography, food, like even like a voucher, something.
But just
of that
like
sort.
Fight for yourself, like you would in any other business that you start. I mean, like modeling it's your business. Like you have to fight for yourself and market yourself, and make sure you're stepping on people's necks, and you know what you're worth.
Do you think it's also because some people just don't take it as seriously? Like I've heard so much like, oh, this is just like my hobby,
right?
Which is fine. Like I understand it's really hard to make a living out of being a model, 100%, and you have to get like other jobs to support you. But at the end of the day, I mean, we need to make our payments for our lives.
Yes.
And like anything helps to just support that. So if we're all asking for it a little bit more, hopefully people will be more conscious of it in businesses, and just like treating each other well. I mean, like you say, like a business, like this is a business agreement and it's mutual. So I actually recently saw a post, and this is like what made me want to do this episode with you, because I was just like, oh my gosh, I have like this like rage.
Same.
And I'm like, and we've talked about it before with other models, where it's like, I feel like there's so many models that we complain with each other, like, oh my gosh, like how we got treated, or how like unfair something was. Like maybe it was a good experience, but why wasn't there like any sort of payment or recognition?
Something unfair came out of it.
Yeah, and that's why like the contracts came into play. Like we should start writing our own contracts. But I saw a post about I mean, I don't know if he's a model or just like some type of like talent agency, something like that, and reshared it. But it said something like, what if someone told you as a business, whatever business you are, like, okay, cool, yeah, like we'll use your product and then like we'll get you paid in like 5 to 6 months. And I feel like that's so common in the modeling industry, where it's like you won't see payment ever, or
they usually do like a net 30 situation, something like that.
Yeah, and that's like completely okay for that. But if it was any other business, product, or like professionalism, that wouldn't happen. You have like same thing, you have your contract in place, and even like sending an invoice, and if you as a model need to send an invoice, you should like download Square.
Exactly.
Or like any other platform you want. Maybe Square will sponsor this podcast one day. But so one more question for you. Has there been like an experience that really pushed you to write a contract for yourself and just be better as a freelance model in that sense?
Yeah, so I think generally there have just been a lot of modeling misconceptions that I've learned to be not true in the past year that have kind of led me to this point. Like I fully believed that I needed an agent to get a job at all, which I found I'm like proof that that is not true. So I think just all of those misconceptions and putting myself out there and just fighting for myself, really trying to make sure that I'm protected, and just trying to speak up about it so that other models can also be protected, kind of doing the same thing that I'm doing. I'm happy to share my contract that I wrote up with anyone who wants to look at it, just very as an example, whatever. I just I think there's just a lot that needs to be said about protecting yourself as a model, especially when you don't have an agent in your corner right behind you.
Yeah, and now especially in this day and age where you can do so much through social media as well, but have that protection behind you. Well, anyway, thank you so much for being part of this episode. I feel like we touched base on a lot of very important things, and we will eventually do like a contract workshop, something. Like I feel like models unite kind of thing.
Yes, let's help each other.
Yeah, like just support, like be more aware, and like whatever questions anyone may have, they can definitely reach out to you.
Because nobody tells you this stuff.
No, like you kind of just like learn it as you go, and then like it's normally not the greatest of experiences, which sucks. You have to learn.
But it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Reach out to people who are doing what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
And, go for it.
Yes, make it happen. But be safe and protected and aware.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being part of this episode.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited to see what you do down the line and like see you walk the runway in New York or Paris or Milan.
We'll get there.
We'll get there for sure. But anyway, that's the V, and thank you all for listening and watching. Bye. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to follow at That's the V podcast on all platforms for more fashion content. And a big thank you to our sponsor, JAG Premier Advertising Agency. If you're looking to get on platforms like Hulu or Netflix, check out the link in the description.